What's up everyone, Danny Lightning back with another CSR2 video. Today we are going to talk about the best cars for newer players to get. I've been playing the game for 5 years and I still use most of these cars to this day, even if it's just like for daily races or this or that. But buying these cars first will get you very far into the game. So guys, make sure you take my advice. So many people buy the wrong cars and they just sit there and collect dust, or they don't perform well and they can't do what they want to do with them. So these are the cars to get as a new player right here. So as a brand new player, the very first car you should be buying is the Volkswagen GTI. This little Golf GTI is amazing. Most players buy a Toyota because they think it looks cooler, or they end up buying the Mini Cooper. But unfortunately, if you did that, you made the wrong choice. This car will beat the first, second, and third boss, no problem. The other cars will not. So if you did buy one of the other cars, don't worry too much about it. You can always get one of these later. The little Toyota or the Mini Cooper or something will do you pretty well to start off with, but you're going to get stuck with them eventually and you're going to want to change over to one of these. So this is definitely either the first car you should buy or something you're going to buy next. There's actually one other car which is really amazing, the Mustang Boss 302. Anybody can buy this one as well. This was added to the game a couple of years ago. And I don't know, I mean, either one of those, the GTI or the Mustang, freaking awesome cars. They'll both do you very well. Most of the other tier 1 cars you can buy with game cash or gold, definitely not worth it. Okay, definitely not worth it. Get one of these two. Alright, so there's two tier 2 cars that I'm going to recommend. Number one is the M235i Coupe, and this one's not as good as the next one, but I still use this car to this day for little daily races and stuff, because it doesn't matter how it's set up, it still beats the dyno time and gets through all the daily races no problem. So this is good to have. It's just an all-around nice starter car, but you know, eventually you're going to outgrow it, but you'll probably still use it for some daily races here and there. At least a lot of people do. Now, the next car I recommend looking at is the Porsche 718 Boxster. This one can only be bought with gold, or if you're lucky, maybe you'll pull one of these out of a crate and it will have a star next to it, which is even better. Now, I don't recommend buying many cars with gold, but if you can't get one of these Boxsters, I would definitely say it's worth spending the little bit of gold on. If you have the gold, it's just an all-around amazing starter car. It will do you very well for tier 2. Now there's a lot of tier 2 cars and tier 1 and tier 3 and tier 4 and tier 5 cars that are way better than what I'm showing you, but most of them are not something you can just easily get. You got to pull them out of a crate, which means you have to have a lot of luck to get those, or you win them as a prize or a boss car or this or that, the other thing. These are the cars that you can actually get easily that are actually good. Alright, let's move over to tier 3. Now the BMW M4 Coupe is a great little starter car. This will do you very well. I definitely suggest getting one of these. And there's another car I suggest for tier 3 as well. And that would be the Ford Mustang GT Premium. I used this one to beat the first 3 bosses. Very nice car. So both of these cars will get you pretty far into the boss races. I'm not really sure which one's actually better, but both of these came in very handy for me at the start of the game. I love them both. I had a lot of fun with both. They did very well for me. Now I don't really use either one of these anymore, but tier 3 cars, or tier 3 is just like that tier that nobody really likes for some reason. Tier 1, tier 2, cool. Tier 4, tier 5 is pretty cool, but tier 3, eventually you're never going to run tier 3 cars, or probably not at least. So those are the tier 3 cars I would recommend getting as a new player. They're both very good. If you had to pick one or the other, I would probably go with the Mustang. I think Ford parts are probably a little bit easier to get. And I know for sure that Mustang will beat the first 3 bosses. So yeah, that's my recommendation for tier 3 cars for new players to buy. Now when it comes to your very first tier 4 car, there is one clear winner, the Nissan 2015 GTR R35 Premium. This car has great acceleration. It's just an all-around really nice car. It can do pretty well at live racing, and it'll beat the first 3 bosses no problem. So when buying your first car, this is the one you want, okay? This is the one you want. Again, there are many cars out there that are better than this, but they are not easy to get. This is one you can actually get and use. So when you're buying your first tier 4 car, this is the one right here. It will do you very, very well and beat the first 3 bosses, no problem, as long as you can get enough parts installed on it. Now, when you need to get your first tier 5 car, there are two really good choices, and you actually want to end up with both of these. I'll tell you why in just a second. But the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, this car is very easy to drive, it's decently fast. It will do a lot of really good stuff for you, okay? If you set this car up correctly and get enough parts on it, this car is great. It'll easily beat the first 3 bosses, no problem. It won't beat the 4th boss, but it will beat the first 3. So in my opinion, this is either the first or second car you should pick up. It's definitely worth owning, definitely worth using. This was the first car that I used for about a year in tier 5. I used this every day for about a year for all kinds of stuff. I loved it. Now there's another one that's going to be better because it will beat all 4 bosses, but it's much harder to drive. Next, we have the Lamborghini Huracan Coupe. This is an amazing car. It will beat all 4 bosses with enough parts installed. This is a really, really nice car, but it's got crazy fast acceleration and it shifts like pop, 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 pop. So a lot of people hate the way it drives for shifting it, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's so many cars in the game that are so hard to get, and something like this is available. You should probably take advantage of it because it's just going to be a really good car for a lot of things. For most things, I would prefer the F12, but for beating the bosses, I would prefer this. The F12 cannot beat the last boss, but this one can. All right, so now do you see this guy right here, this Tier 5 Toyota GR Supra, which is an elite tuner's car? Eventually, you will get this car for free. This car is phenomenal. I love it. Until you can get a hold of this and start getting extra stars on it. So the elite tuner's cars don't come with stars. You have to earn tokens and put the tokens on there to level these up with these elite levels, okay? And once this thing is fully elited, there's 35 elite levels on these. Once this thing is fully elited, it is a beast. It'll be all the bosses. It's a live racing machine. It's just an all-around amazing car for pretty much everything. So eventually you will get this for free. So when you get one of these, my advice is start focusing on eliting this car and upgrading this car, okay? It will be amazing. Now there's another really amazing elite tuners car that you're going to get for free, which is the Subaru WRX STI. This is a tier 4 car. Now when you unlock these cars, which won't be till later in the game, it's going to give you a choice to either get this or the Lancer. You can pick one for free and you have to buy the other one with gold. I definitely suggest picking the Subaru. It is the better car because on lower upgrades, it performs much better than the Lancer. Now, when this and the Lancer are both maxed out, they're very, very similar cars, but on lower upgrades, this WRX is just great. It's a live racing monster. It beats dyno. It does whatever you need it to do once you get enough parts installed and elite upgrades installed on this thing. So remember those last 2 cars I showed you, the Elite Tuners one, they don't unlock till a little later in the game. So if you're a new player, you're not going to see those anytime soon. But when they do unlock, you're definitely going to want to focus on getting those upgraded and elited, okay? So bottom line, those are the best tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 cars for newer players to get. They will get you very far into the game. Eventually, you're going to outgrow most of those, except for the last 2 I showed you, of course. You won't outgrow those. You'll be using those even as a seasoned player that's been playing for years. But as a newer player to the game, it may take a little while for you to get a bunch of nice stuff. But if you've got a lot of patience, or if you want to spend some money, you can do it faster. But if you're free to play or cheap to play and you don't spend too much money on the game, just have some patience. After a couple months, I had so much nice stuff it wasn't even funny just playing this game for free. So it's off to a slow start, right? You're not going to expect to just hop into the game and get all kinds of really awesome stuff right away. But if you've got some patience, if you play daily, if you grind, spend a little bit of time on the game, you'll be like, hey, I'm getting nicer and nicer and nicer stuff. This is awesome. But yeah, at first it's a little slow, but trust me, guys, it's going to pick up. You're going to have some beautiful, awesome cars very soon, even if you don't spend any money. You just got to have the patience and the time to keep playing the game. But I think that wraps this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to make some videos to help you guys out. So help me out, like, subscribe, click the little bell, set those notifications to all so you don't miss any good videos. I've always got how to drive different cars, game news, game tips, tutorials, you name it. Also, don't forget to check out the description. There's a link to my other YouTube channels. There's a link to my Discord server and all kinds of cool stuff. All right, catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Lightning out. Have an awesome day. See ya.